So this lesson is for 8.5, properties of logarithms. I am not feeling the best, however I am leaving a video so you guys can still get this content. So we are continuing with logarithms. So first part we have is our rules, if you will. These are some helpful rules. You're going to go ahead and highlight several things. So grab a highlighter color with your notability. You're going to highlight when they multiply. It's the same as writing log bx plus log by. This means that the product is equal to the sum of its factors. So when you multiply them together, those would be the factors. You can take those factors and add them, and this is how you expand for the product rule. Okay, next up we have the quotient rule. Quotient rule, you're going to take log base b, you're going to put x divided by y. So log base b of x minus log base b of y. And this is the quotient rule. So we use these when we're expanding and we're simplifying these logarithmic expressions. So here we go. It's going to say simplify each of the following using the product and quotient rule. Okay, so product rule and quotient rule, what they're saying is they don't want us to just type this into the calculator and push enter. That's not how we're going to do these. So we need to have, remember, product rule and quotient rule, break it into its factors. So log base 10 of 10 cubed should give you 1,000. And this is log base 10 of 10. And then remember, product rule, it's multiply. So 10 times 10 times 10. Right? So log base 10 of 10 plus log base 10 of 10 plus log base 10 of 10. And do you remember the last class we talked about some like initial rules for logarithms, and we said that if their base number is the same as the number you're taking the logarithm of, so like this 10 and 10, they essentially become a 1. So this, we would just need to have all these ones together, and this answer is going to be 3, which actually works out pretty nice. Okay, for the second one, over here in the middle, we're going to also break this into the factors. Log base 10 of 3 times 10. This is log base 10 of 3 plus log base 10 of 10. Okay, so you're going to have a plus 1 over there. Log base 3, this one I am going to need to use my calculator for. So I'm going to have that's 0.47712. And you would get this number by just pushing the log button into your calculator. Just put log 3. Your calculators already have base 10. So if it's a base 10, your calculator can do it just fine. If it's anything other than base 10, you have to actually divide them in your calculator. This will be 1.4771, and you're going to leave it with 4 decimal places. All right, we got one more. Give you a second here to finish writing. Okay, on the last one, this is division now. Remember when it said division, we did subtraction? So log 10 of 1 minus log base 10 of 2. Okay, 10 of 1. Remember also when we did our rules last time for logarithms, it said 1, to take 1 would always give you a 0. And using my calculator for the second one, I'd get 0.30103. So this would be negative 0.3010. There we are. Ta-da! Okay, so this is your first example. I'm going to go ahead and hover here for just a second and kind of explain these. So when you're doing these, you want to make sure that you are using your product rule and your quotient rule. So notice for the first one, we expanded it. Oh, that's product. We expanded it out to the factors. We took each factor into its own logarithm. The second one, we also did product rule. So we did 30, 3 and 10. The last one, we did quotient rule. This would be quotient rule. And there's a minus in between now. Okay, I'm going to keep going. You are going to have some to practice with right about here. If you could please make sure that this one says 60 on your whiteboard. This is a different number. Please make it say 60. So go ahead and fix that right now. Go ahead, pause the video and make sure everyone can fix it. All right, thank you so much. Now that you have it fixed, go ahead and work on this whiteboard problem. Go ahead, pause the video so you can work on the whiteboard problem and just leave it on pause until everyone's done. When everyone's done, they can give a thumbs up and then we can start the video again. Okay, thank you. Hey, thank you for joining us back. I'm assuming that means you have finished this whiteboard problem, so I'm going to show the answers here. So here are your whiteboard answers. The first one, you should be able to break into 10 times 6, log base 10 and 6. You get 1, you get 0.7782. So your total answer would be 1.7782. The second one was quotient rule right here. Quotient rule for the second one. First one was product rule. So quotient rule, you took 15 minus 2. You don't have to break it into this step. You could also do from here to get your final answer. So one option was to break it further even more. You don't have to break it further. You can go from here all the way to the final answer, and that's still acceptable. I broke it down to the smallest possible factors, that's all. Just that way the numbers were smaller when I typed them into the calculator. But in this particular case, it makes no difference. All right, power rule of logarithms. Okay, you are going to need to highlight some stuff. How I have an orange right here, go ahead and highlight log base b of x to the r is equal to r times log base b of x. So, what it's saying, I wrote down a little example below. What it's saying is that the logarithm of a number raised to a power is equal to the product of the exponent and the logarithm of that number. So basically, you can take your exponent and move it in front. That's like the short way of explaining it. So I have an example right here. Please go ahead and write this down. So you're going to write this one down. Notice the power 3 can move in front. And then I have a couple little like revisit, remember. So these two down here are for you to remember. We did rational exponents like several units ago. So I just want to remind you, remember when you have a square root, right? This is really 1/2. When you have a cube root, this is really 1/3. So go ahead and write those down so you have them as well. You can go ahead and pause the screen until everyone's done writing. And then when you're done writing, just give a thumbs up so you can move forward. All right, thank you so much. Okay, we're going to start with our examples. Example 2, simplify each of the following expressions using the power rule. So, we are going to write these as our powers. So we're going to have log 10 of, do you remember how we write square root of 2? And we put 2 to what power? Should be 1/2. 2 to the 1/2. Okay, then the 1/2, this is that power rule, can actually be moved in front. So 1/2 times log base 10 of 2. Log base 10 of 2 we can do in our calculators. So this is going to be 0.3010, I believe. So 1/2 would be 0.1505. That's what you should have. Okay, and on the right side, we're going to do log base 10 of 8. So we're going to break this into our powers. So 8, we should be able to have a number times itself a couple times until we get 8. So think about it. What number can we multiply times itself to get 8? All right, so you should have 2 cubed gives you 8. So 2 cubed would give you 8 here. Remember, the cube can be in front now. So 3 log base 10 of 2. So 3 times, what's log base 10 of 2? That would give you 0.3010. Oh yeah, we just did log base 10 of 2. So 3 times would be 0.903, and we're going to leave it like that. Okay. I mean, there's technically an extra 0 there, so we have the 4th number. So I should probably put that. There you go. Now it looks the same. 4 numbers. All right. If you need to go ahead and pause so everyone can catch up, that's fine, and then we'll keep going. All right, we're going to go ahead and practice this with a whiteboard problem. So it's just one whiteboard problem this time. I'm going to have you go ahead and pause. When you're done, give a thumbs up so we can move forward. Okay, go for it. All right, thank you so much. So we're going to show this answer. So you should have had 5 squared right here. 5 squared makes 25. The 2 comes in front, power rule. 2 times log base 10 of 5. You multiply that out, you get 1.398. Yay. Okay, believe it or not, we're like mostly through. We have another example, a couple more whiteboards, and then some practice problems with your partner that you can work together and speak and collaborate. So here we go. Summary of properties of logs. We're going to do, these are a summary of what we've done so far. So this is all summed up in one page. So if there's one to remember or like refer back to, you could say refer to this page when stuck. To this page while doing homework, I'll say. If you get stuck, you can refer to this page. It should be able to help you. So, in the first couple we talked about several classes, last class I think, or the class before. The new information is product rule, quotient rule. So product rule, that's new. Quotient rule, that one's new. And power rule is the new one. The rest you've seen before. It's not new, it's revisiting. Okay, you shouldn't have to memorize any of these. This shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I need to memorize a rule. It should be things that you kind of get used to just doing. So like when you're doing order of operations, hopefully you're not sitting there saying, oh my gosh, how do I do PEMDAS, right? It's just a natural process. So, you follow these, you use these tools, kind of like a toolbox. You use these tools, and you're able to simplify or expand your logarithms. So that's what we're going to do, actually, in just a couple minutes here. In a couple seconds, actually. So we're going to use these tools to be able to expand or simplify our logarithms. So here we go. There are some common misunderstandings. It says stop. Stop. Don't make these mistakes. So I want you to be very careful when you're doing this. Do not make these mistakes. Notice, they have right here, you cannot simplify this first one. You cannot simplify the second one. They are both done. Also, notice they're telling you be careful. X times y does not mean you multiply these big logarithms. Remember, you'd really have to add them when you're multiplying. And when you're dividing, you're really subtracting them. There should be no denominator, right? So, be careful. Do not make these mistakes. This is also a no-no. No. Don't make those mistakes. So be careful when you're doing these, because these are some common things that students do. So just like a quick little tip and trick. And once again, you can always refer up while you're doing these. You're welcome to scroll up and down so you can see exactly what you're doing to make sure you're using the correct rules. You will not need to say, I use the product rule, quotient rule, power rule, but it is good to know what you're using. Okay, you use the properties of logs to expand and simplify the following expressions. we're going to take these right now, and we're going to expand and simplify them. So, sorry, I had to get water, guys. So, log xy squared over z. You're going to first take the entire numerator, log base b, xy squared, minus log base b of z. So this was my quotient rule, right? I divided my expression out. I'm going to expand this one. So this one we're going to expand. And this one we're going to simplify. And typically you'll be able to know which one is which because just looking at these two, this one is a lot longer, right? So you're going to simplify it down to 1. This one's already 1, so you're going to expand it out to multiple. So I started my expansion. I'm not done yet. I got to keep going. So now I notice I have a product rule. They're being multiplied. So I have log base b of x plus log base b of y squared minus log base b of z. Okay. I notice that there's something else I can do. I see an exponent there. Remember what happens when we have exponents? We write them in front, right? That's the power rule. So I have log base b of x plus log base b of, plus 2 log base b of y. Can't forget the 2. That would be the power rule. Okay. Minus log base b of z. Okay, and this one is done. That's it. It's expanded. Can't expand any further. I am done. I do want to say real quick here while we're doing these problems, be careful how you write your logarithms when your expressions here. Notice the base b here is a little lower than it is for the word log and x. So when you're writing this, remember, log base b of x. See how the b is further down there? I'm just trying to show you. See how it's further down there? You should not have log bx. If you're writing it like this, it is wrong. They are not the same thing. That is completely wrong. And you will lose points. So if you do that on the homework or the quiz or test, you will lose points for that. You cannot write them in one big line. The base needs to be lower than the letter G. Like it's a subscript. Okay, so that's just like to show you what not to do. So you have that in your mind. So be careful when you're writing it. Right? And we're going to try the one on the right. The one on the right says simplify. Now I'm given this big logarithmic expression. I need to simplify it down to 1. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to take this slow piece by piece. I notice that there's a lot of negatives and there's also 1/2 in front. I know from power rule that the 1/2 is going to be a power, right? So let me start with that. So log a of 4 to the 1/2. You typically go left to right when you're doing these. So that should be able to help a little bit. Minus log base a of 5 minus log base a of y. Okay, 4 to the 1/2 would be square root of 4. What's the square root of 4, people? Should know it. Square root of 4 is 2. Minus log a to the 5th. Minus, not to the 5th. Why did I put the 5 up there? To 5 minus log a y. Okay, next up we're going to do. See how there's 2 negatives here? That means both of those are negative. So I bet log base a of 2 minus, if I grab this whole thing, log a5 plus log base a of y. Okay, there we go. So all I did was I factored out that negative because both of those are negative. So now it's here. What this tells me is that's going to be my denominator right there. And I know it's going to be my denominator because way in the beginning, they were both negatives. See right here, they're both negatives. That means that the 5 and the y are going to be my denominator. So it's kind of cool that we're able to simplify this. Log base a of, now it would be 5y. Right? And that's going to be my denominator. So what I'm looking at is I'm going to have a 2 on the top and a 5y on the bottom. And I think that's my final step now. So now I get to write it as a fraction of something. And it would be 2 on the numerator and 5y on my denominator. And this is it. We did it. Yay! We did it. We did it. We did it. Okay. Go ahead and pause if you need to catch up with your writing for this problem. And then we're going to practice this problem. We have 2 sets to practice, I believe, 2 sets of whiteboards, and then a partner activity. So we're almost near the end. Good job, class. All right, here's your first whiteboard problem. It says use the properties to expand and simplify the following. Go ahead and give a thumbs up when you're done. For now, go ahead and pause the video so you can work. All right, thanks so much for coming back. We're going to look at these. These should have been a little bit faster than the ones we did as as a class. So log base b of 2 plus log base b of x cubed, right? You bring the cube in front right here with power rule, and that's your final answer. For the second one over here, you should have log of x squared, right? Minus log of, change colors here, y cubed, which should give you, when you divide them, this should give you a fraction. There you go. It's subtraction, so it's quotient rule. All right, we're going to try another one of these. This next step might take a little bit longer, be a little more challenging. Go ahead, same thing. Give a thumbs up when you're done. In the meantime, you can go ahead, pause, and begin. All right, thank you so much for coming back with us. Here are our answers for this. So you're going to xy to the power of -3. You're going to put the -3 in front. You're going to have it in front of everything, multiply in front of everything because it's to both of those terms, right? So you're going to distribute that -3 into the x log base b of x and log base b of y. And on the right side, remember we talked about this square root of x is really x to the 1/2. Cube root of x is x to the 1/3. So I mentioned that before. There was a reason. So the 1/2 and the 1/3 come in front. This part kind of confused students. They thought they were done at this point. This is not done yet. That's not done. So this is not done. And the reason it's not done is because both of these have x, log base b of x. Essentially, it's the entire same right part of the information. So what I did is I took my 1/2 and my 1/3 and I moved them in front. I factored out the log bx part. I did common denominator. Oh no. Common denominator. And I got 5/6 log base b of x. So this would not have worked if it was one was x and one was y, log base b. But because they are both x, I can, in fact, go ahead and factor out this front fraction that we have, the 1/2 and the 1/3. So what I'm really doing is factoring out the log base b of x, and I'm able to add and combine those fractions into 5/6. Sorry. Okay. We are on your partner activity, and then it is time for your assignment. So here's your partner activity you're going to work on. There's 3 of them. Go ahead, pause when you're done. Go ahead, give a thumbs up, and we'll play the video so you can finish the checking your answers. Hey, thanks for coming back. Here's your answers to check. You can go ahead and freeze the screen if you want or whatever. These are your 3 answers. So the first one, we have 3 times log base b of x plus log base b of y. The second one, we have log base b of, and it's a big quantity, 25x over 3. The last one is log base b of x squared over x plus 1. Yay, you made it through the end. Yes, you did it. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Right now, we are going to kind of switch over. You should have plenty of time to do your assignment. I'm guessing this video will probably about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on, how many times you need to pause or to slow down to watch it. And so the remaining time, you should have about 30 to 40 minutes left. and that remaining time would be what you're going to work on your assignment. So you should have plenty of time to finish your assignment in class. If for whatever reason that's not the case, you can send me an email, but I think my accounting should be just about right. So you're going to work on your assignment, you're going to try your best on the assignment, and then you are going to submit your assignment to me on Schoology. So I have it. Okay, so you're trying your best. You are working on it now. The second thing you have to do is corrections. So you have two things you're doing, and actually I'm going to write them right here. Your to-do list, so you know exactly what you're doing right now with the remaining time. So your first option you're doing, to-do list. You are working on assignment 8.05, and that's this one right now that we just finished, this lesson. So you're doing that assignment first. Then you are doing your quiz corrections. I do not have any more correction paper. Sorry. You can use binder paper. On binder paper. And if you finish it, hold on to it until I get back. I don't want it to get lost, so just hold on to it. And then your third thing would be to read quietly. Do extra math problems. Or work on homework. Other homework. Some of you are missing assignments. Now would be a great time to finish them. And then remember, there's always these slides after that say wait for instructions. So if you don't have something to do, we can give you something to do. There's plenty more practice problems. So there's your to-do list. You can go ahead and pause the video so it stays on the screen. Whatever you need to do, freeze the screen. That's your to-do list that you're working on. I am hoping I will be feeling better soon. We'll see. Yeah, have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.